The day has finally come, and I have finally received, after 2 months, my brand new FX30. Most of you know me as a Blackmagic Pocket 6K cinema camera shooter. I recently sold that for various reasons. I'll put a link up to that video here, why I did, why I'm making the switch to Sony, and why I think you probably should. If you have not already invested in the Blackmagic, this camera is going to be a very enticing option for you. But in this video, I want to go ahead and build out my brand new FX30 rig. Now, some of these components will be the same as my 6K rig, as I'm just pulling pieces from them. Some of them are new, and I'm trying out some new things for this camera specifically. Quick thank you to all of you who have watched and supported my channel. I'm really excited to continue on my journey with the FX30. I've got some really cool projects coming up, some new gear we're testing out. Let's go ahead and build my rig. Okay, of course I'm going to start with my base plate and build from there, build from the ground up. I don't actually have a cage for my FX30. At the moment, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to buy one. Some of them, I'm just not impressed with the options that they have, specifically because I rely a lot on using those top-mounted cold shoe mounts, and the small rig one right now, it's a little bit angled. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use that kind of a cage right now, so I'm going to omit the cage for the moment. And there's already 1/4 mounts on the FX30, which is really cool. Ugh. So I'm starting with my small rig 15mm rail base plate. All right, of course, the next thing I'm going to do is put my 15mm rails in. I have two small rig 8-inch 15mm rails. I don't want anything too big for this setup because I'm not mounting a large mount box. I'm mounting a very smaller one and a pretty trimmed down setup, which is part of the reason I switched to the FX30. Let's go ahead and lock those in roughly, kind of even them there, even them out there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put my lens on just so that I have a reference for where everything's going to fall. I'm using the Sony 18-105 f4G series lens. Some of you may be looking at me like you're crazy. Why on earth would you use that lens? This lens is actually one of the fastest and sharpest of the G series lenses that I've used. It's very cost efficient. You get a great focal range from 18-105 on a crop sensor. That's about 27-150. Something like that, as well as internal stabilization in the lens. So you get the IBIS and the in-lens stabilization, pair them together, incredible combo. This is a great lens for about $700 with a nice zoom control, and then you can of course control your zoom from the body. Really great lens, so let's throw that on. There we go. Next step, I am going to put my V-mount battery plate. This is a Camvate V-mount battery plate. It's got multiple hookups here, 12 volts, 7 volt for your monitor, a D-tap, and a USB out. Really handy, as well as a lot of 1/4 mounts on the back, which I used to mount my T5 drive to. I will no longer do that, but this will power both camera and monitor well. Okay, there's my plate. Next, I'm going to throw my V-mount battery on it. Some of you may be asking, why on earth would you cover up your monitor? Well, I'm actually planning to use an external monitor with control of the camera instead of actually using the monitor to check my control. So there, we've got our battery on our base plate with the camera. Next, we're going to put our top handle on. I did not go with the Sony XLR top handle. Why not? Because for an extra $400 to get 2 XLR inputs that I probably will not use, to me, it was not worth it. And I would guess that a lot of vloggers, people who are buying this particular camera, which is a more budget option, are probably going to be using something like the Wireless Go that I'm using and not an XLR connected microphone. So I went with a nice small rig handle, which works perfectly for me and has lots of great cold shoe mounting options like I mentioned before that I use a lot. There we go. Next, I'm going to throw my mini matte box, my Tilta mini matte box. I've done a review about this several places, but this thing is fantastic. If you're looking for a good budget matte box, it's got lots of great mounting options on the top. Slides right onto your lens with the adapter ring, and you lock it in. There you go. So we're getting there, almost there. Next, I have the Portkeys PT5 5-inch monitor. This might be another head scratcher to a lot of you. I've gotten a lot of different monitors sent to me, and this thing is probably my favorite so far. This one doesn't actually have, this one's not the wireless controlling one, But this is the one I'm going to use for now because it's really lightweight, very sharp, very bright in daylight, and I just like it. So I'm going to throw that right here on the front. Then I'm going to go ahead and power that up with my cable here that goes right into my Camvate plate. And you could actually even run it through this little hole, clean it all up. I'm not going to clean it up right now. And of course, I have a mic. I haven't decided where I want to throw this on yet because it's kind of in the way. It does have a 1/4 thread mount right there, as well as I've got plenty on my body so I could, you know, throw it on the side or something, although that's where my hand goes. Haven't decided where I want to put this just yet, but it will end up on the rig. The last piece of gear is going to be my DJI Focus system. The third head scratcher for the video. Why would I use this old piece of gear? Actually, this thing is a very little discussed piece of gear. DJI came out with this Focus system, and it's phenomenal. A long time ago, probably 10 years ago by now. This thing is really great, very great range, very smooth motion, great connectivity. It's brilliant. You have a reversible gear. I haven't used this a lot, but this thing is fantastic. If you can find one used on eBay for $600, $700, $800, this is a steal because this thing is awesome. They have discontinued this though. I will put a link to one that I've tried and used down below, as well as links to all of this gear will be below. But I really like the DJI Focus. And of course the DJI Focus comes with multiple DTAP batteries that you can plug straight into the plate or to the battery. And that's what I'm going to use to power my DJI Focus. And there you go. There is my FX30 Cinema Rig basic build. I'm definitely going to be putting out a lot more videos about this camera. So far I've used it a bit and I love it. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching again. Use those links if you're able to. It does really help me out. I will see you next time.